It's time for business, and Daryl Kwao has joined me. Good evening to you, Daryl.
Hi, Ijo. How are you doing?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing very great.
All right, you take it away.
All right. Now, the Ghana Institution of Surveyors is pushing for government's support in addressing the influx of foreign practitioners in their sector. The institution has attributed the foreign invasion to the lack of legislation to regulate surveying in the country. It has therefore been pushing for the passage of the Survey Council bill in the last 20 years to, among others, register and regulate activities of surveyors. The Public Affairs Committee Chairman, Humphrey Amegado, explains to Joy Business it is now incumbent on the incoming government to prove its commitment to developing their industry.
You're saying that every profession must be regulated, and if you're a professional, you enter any other country, there must be systematic procedure for registration and practice of whatever you are. A Ghanaian lawyer cannot just enter Britain and begin to practice law. He needs to go through a process of registration with the bar association or whatever before gains that permission to practice. And that is the kind of thing we are saying in Ghana, that the country trains us as professionals. So we must have the grounds regulated such that we have that right to practice. And anybody who comes must work under us, because we become a supervisory role. We play a supervisory role in monitoring and sanitizing and keeping standards in our sector. That is what we're talking about. The regulation requires that to take place in the country.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe you'd like to break that down for us in terms of regulations. What specific regulations are we looking at?
The Ghana Institution of Surveyors has been behind the promotion of the Survey Council law over the past 20 years. It nearly came to light under the late Professor Mills when he went to Cabinet, and Cabinet approved it, and it was his way to Parliament. And that the Parliament couldn't consider it, and now it's back to the ministry, and we need to work and push that law to see the light of day.
Oil and gas now, and more players in that industry have kicked against plans by the incoming government to relocate the headquarters of the GNPC from the capital city to the western region, the oil city. Details in this report.
In a bid to develop the western region into an oil services hub in the West African sub-region, the MPP in its 2016 manifesto promised to relocate the headquarters of GNPC to the western region. The Africa Center for Energy Policy, however, believes this should be strategically done within a comprehensive framework involving other state institutions like the Minerals Commission, among others. Chairman of the Energy Commission, Dr. Kwame Ampofo, agrees the new government have to consider this for the desired impact.
It may not be necessary because positioning of the headquarters of any organization is done by considering many factors. That particular headquarters is going to have a lot of linkages with other institutions, even internationally. For example, finance issues, speedy access to seat of government, foreign affairs, and other agencies in the energy sector. The fact that currently most of the oil is produced in the western region does not mean that it will continue to be like that forever. In fact, the current data being collected by GNPC indicates that it is likely that the Qatar Basin will become the largest hub in this country and perhaps in the West African region. Therefore, what happens? Does it mean that then you relocate the headquarters from Western region to Angola, Qatar, or somewhere? And then maybe in the Voltairean Basin, in the long future, maybe we've discovered more oil in that basin also. So the decision to relocate, I don't think has been analyzed carefully.
The executive director of Kumasi Institute of Technology, Energy and Environment, KITE Ghana, Ishmael Ajokumhene, also believes a relocation of GNPC to the western region would barely make any impact in the development of the region.
Where I said, quite frankly, I can't envision any great benefit apart from the fact that if you put that promise in perspective, it says that they want to turn the western region in the oil and gas hub. If that's the thinking, almost like having Houston as the headquarters of oil and gas in the U.S., for example. But in terms of the added benefit, I really can't envision any serious implication apart from letting the people of the Western region feel that, okay, they have the oil resources located in the region, so getting the head national oil company closer to them. If GNPC should find oil in, let's say, the northern part of Ghana, are we going to move the head office? Another important thing is whether we're going to be able to get all these other IOs, that's international oil companies, the Talos, the Cosmoses, and all the Anadacos to also relocate to the west. I'm not too sure whether they have room to accommodate all those people in the expansion. So in terms of that local economy, yes, business is going to be a little bit more vibrant, but it comes at a cost. I mean, landed property is very, very expensive in Accra now.
So, the incoming administration may have to convince stakeholders more on the strategic plan for effective implementation.
Now, government owes mining companies over 280 million Ghana cedis in value-added tax refunds as at the end of 2015. The VAT Act stipulates in a case deductible tax exceeds the expected amount, the difference is to be refunded within 30 days to the business or individual. A report by the Ghana Chamber of Mines, however, indicates the preliminary audit process takes at least 9 months, almost always stalling the refund. General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Prince William Ankrah, says the delays are unduly impeding the operations of mining companies.
Actually, if there's any money that could do a good cause, that is really locked down somewhere. It's an issue to well because that will augment the cash flow. And when there's better cash flow, it relieves everybody because lack of cash flow means that you've got to take some decisions to survive. I'm sure that it's worth millions of cedis, and I think that the chamber and its members need those money to operate. So we think that actually, if they are due, we've got to make sure that they have it. Even though our nation needs money, but it's not for the nation, so they've got to make sure they get it back.
Our final story tonight on business, and more business organizations are challenging the incoming government to place the private sector first in its implementation of economic policies. The latest to add their voice to the call are the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana and the Hoteliers Association. Here's more in this report.
Already, a number of private businessmen and associations have impressed on the new administration to focus on stimulating private sector. According to them, this is the only way the fortunes of the economy can be improved. The president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, Kojo Mata, explains the economic growth the new administration is targeting will largely be hinged on the performance of sector.
A new government is coming, expectations are huge, expectations are high, and they will continue to be high because of the propositions that the incoming government made to Ghanaians. We embrace that well, and we hope that with the right policies and determination, with the right people in place, we believe no task is impossible, and the incoming government should be able to deliver.
The incoming government's promise to reduce taxes is also something hotel operators are eagerly looking forward to in 2017. Hoteliers have over the years cited high taxes and utility tariffs as major factors curtailing growth in the industry. Aka Nyamika Jr. has also been sharing the expectations.
We've made so much noise, if I should put it that way, about the effect of the 17% on the industry. And the incoming government has promised to reduce it to the flat rate. Again, we are also looking at, you mentioned EPE. It's another area because we simply can't understand why the permit fee and the processing fee of EPA was increased to that level.
Analysts believe prioritizing the private sector in management of the economy cannot be overemphasized so long as the sector remains the engine of growth of the economy.
That's all in business. Joy News Prime continues after this break.